Hello, guys. Good evening. Welcome, 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 welcome. Solange, good evening. Hello, and good evening. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to our live class for tonight. You're all welcome. So, like I said, our live streams are 7 p.m. sharp, 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 sharply. No waste time, no waste of time. So we're going to start. Good evening. If you're just joining us, you are welcome. You are very welcome, okay? Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our live stream for tonight. So, like I said, hello, my name is Stylish Naija here on YouTube. I do live streams and I am a fashion tutor here. For those of you that don't know me here on YouTube, good evening. Gifts, you're welcome. Good evening. God bless you. God bless you. Peacemate, you're welcome. Chinyere, Chineye, okay, Chineye, good evening. All right, so guys, so let's get started with our live stream for tonight. So you already saw the picture of, I'm teaching you guys how to cut a princess dart with a V neckline. So that's what we are learning today. So we have a line here, and then the measurement that we're using, our bust circumference is 36, our under bust is 30, our waist is 34. So those are the measurements that we're going to be making use of. And then why the shoulder is 14. So those are the measurements, okay? So we have a straight line here. So this line, we're going to call this line our shoulder line. So we're drafting the back first. If you're just joining us, you're welcome. Say hello, say hi. Those of you that are dropping, hello, good evening. Thank you so much. All right, Edward, thank you so much. So the next thing I'm going to do, we want to mark our bust point. So let's shift this so that we'll have, yes, so I'll be able to capture the full table. So our bust circumference is going to be, sorry, our bust point is 10 inches, okay? And then our under bust is 13.5 inches. And then the basque, our waistline, for the waistline, I'm going to use 17, and then our basque, if you notice, you can see that it is a basque waistline. So for the basque, I'm just going to leave it. So 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 22 plus 1 inch allowance, okay? So that's for the basque waistline. So I'm just going to draft it. If you want to add a basque, if you don't want to add the basque, anyone you want, but you're just going to learn tonight how to draft a simple princess dart pattern, okay? So that's what you're going to learn today. So I'm just marking all of these lines. So when I am done marking them, I am going to label them. So from our shoulder to our bust point is 10 inches. This is bust point. And then from this shoulder line to this line, which is 13.5, is called the under bust line. And then from this shoulder line to this point is called the waist line. And then from this line to this line, which is 24, is called the basque waist, okay? So this one is the belly button. You know where your navel is. So that's that line. So the next thing we want to do, we want to mark our shoulder line. Very important. Our shoulder is 14 divided by 2. We have 7, and then we're going to add 1 inch for allowance. So from that point, you're going to come down by 1 inch. So the reason for this 1 inch is because our shoulder is not straight. So you connect that line back, connect it to the neckline area. So this part, around that part, that's where our neckline is. And then now we want to mark our half of our armhole, that's the armpit. So for this, we're using 7.5, which is 15 inches. So you can divide your armhole into two. You can just take your tape and measure it round and then get your measurements, okay? So there are various ways of doing that. So you can just mark it round. So when I am done marking it like this, I'm just going to just create a curve like this, okay? So some of you will like, why did I not measure here before I mark the curve? I'm going to show you guys. You can do it like this. You can measure it. So for us to take our bust circumference, our bust circumference is 9. That's 36 divided by 4, we're going to have 9. So this is the 9 inches. And then I'm going to add 2 inches. So can you see? So I'll add 2 inches as allowance, as stitching allowance, and then add 1 inch as that. So I'm just going to extend this line like this. So that's my armhole curve now. Then the next thing I want to do, I want to come to this part, which is the under bust. So for my under bust, we say we're using 30, you divide that into 4. So when you divide that into 4, you're going to have 7 inches. You're going to add our 2 inches. That's what we're using for stitching allowance, and then we're using 1 inch for that. So you're going to have it looking like this. So what you are going to do from that part, you're just going to connect this like this. Can you see how beautiful it is looking already? So pattern drafting is not difficult. Just make up your mind, okay? So the next thing we're going to do, we are going to mark our waistline. So because this is the back measurement, we don't have a back waistline for the back, so we just have our normal back. So for the back is a normal half cut, because that basque is for the front alone. But if you want the back to have basque, if it is a style that you want the back to have basque, you can add a basque to both the back and the front, okay? So for the waist is 34, we're going to divide that into 4. We have 9.5, and then we're going to add our 2 inches that, and then 1 inch stitching allowance, okay? So when we do that, we're going to have it looking like this. So like I said, if you want to add a basque to the front, so what you're going to do, this down part, or if it is a full blouse, so let me just show you. If it is a full blouse, you're going to take the down part of your blouse like this. So for our hip measurement, our hip is 40, you mark it 4, and then you're going to add 2 inches stitching allowance, and then 1 inch that. So when you do that, you're going to have it looking like this. So you're going to have your measurement like this, okay? So the next thing we want to do, we want to mark out our dart. So it is from this dart, that is where we create our dart, our princess dart. So for the dart, I'm using 8 inches for my nipple to nipple. So you divide that 8 inches into 2, you are going to have for 4 inches. So when you divide that 4 inches, so you can say I marked for 4 inches because our nipple to nipple is 8. So you divide that into 2, and then I have 4 inches like this. So I'm just going to connect it this way, okay? So when I connect this way, it's a simple process, very simple. So the next thing, we want to take out our dart. Remember the dart, we used 1 inch when we're calculating it. So you're going to come to the waistline like this. You're going to mark half inch to our right, and then you mark the other half inch to the left, okay? So when you do that, you're going to take your tape like this, okay? You're going to take your tape like this for you to know where you're going to blend it from. You can decide from your bust line, you can come down by 2 inches. So this will help you, like this is going to be like a guide, you understand? So this will help you know that, okay, this is where you are going to be coming from for your that, okay, for that waist that, okay? And then the next thing, you are going to take this dart, you're just going to blend it down to the hip area like this, okay? So when you do that, the next thing we want to do, we want to divide what we have here. We want to divide that into 2. And then for this kind of style line, we're not going to be completely dividing it into 2. If you notice, that line, it came up a little bit. That is up, not from the down the armhole. Normally when you are taking your dart for your princess dart, this is what we normally do. We share what we have here into 2, and then you're going to come down maybe by 2 inches and then mark all but this, we are not going to do it that way, because we're not going to be marking it from that point. So just watch what I'm going to do. So for this, so this is our half part. So in order for it to be easy for us, we can just divide our tape like this so that we will not be confused. So so you can see what I have. This is where it is supposed to be, but for this I'm going to come up by 1 inch. So it is from this mark. So now what I did now is that line, I did not take it from the midpoint. I hope you guys understand. So I did not take it from the middle of my armhole, so I came up a little bit. So I marked it, okay? So this is my back pattern. So for this, I'm just going to blend this into this part like this, okay? I'm just going to blend this. So this is for the back. So that's all I need for my back pattern. So when we do the front, we're going to work on that. So for the back neckline, I'm going to use 3.5 inches width, and then I'm going to come down by 2 inches. It is a round neckline. So here is how we are going to achieve that. You're just going to use your pattern curve, and then you're going to mark it like this. So you can see this is easy. So now when you are cutting, so for this, I'm going to cut it for the sake of those people. So when you want to cut this, when you are transferring to your fabric, you can increase this a little bit, okay? So I'm just going to show you guys how this is going to be cut. So you can see what I did. I just came out just a little bit, like quarter of an inch. So that's what I was trying to say. So this now, I'm just going to cut this like this. So this is for my back pattern, okay? So that's for my back princess, that back pattern. So I'm going to, so that's our back pattern, and then you can see, so you see how it looks. So that is all we have for our back pattern. The next thing we want to do, so I'm just going to keep this here, and then let's work on our front. So our front piece is like the main thing for today. But once you are able to do the back pattern, you can see what we already did. So once you're able to get the back pattern, the front is like a more of a little walk over, okay? So now we're going to start the whole process. It's just that this one has bust, that it has cups. That's just the difference. So for this, we're just going to mark our start line again, and then we're going to call this our shoulder line. And then from that shoulder line, we are going to mark 10 inches, which is our bust point. That's our nipple point. And then we're going to mark 13.5, and then we're going to mark our 17, and then our bust measurement we're using 23, okay? So those are the line. I already explained all of them while we were cutting the back. So I'm going to connect this line like this. So this line, we're going to call this line our bust point, okay? And then the next line we are going to mark is this line like this, which is our under bust, which is 13.5. And then this one is our waist. So like I always tell you, your waist, that waistline is your belly button. So we call that the waistline, your belly button or your navel. And then the next measurement we want to mark is our basque measurement. So you can call this our basque line, okay? So those are the measurements. Those are the different lines on our pattern. So the next thing we want to do, we want to come here like this and mark our shoulder measurement, which is 14. Divide by 2, we have 7, and then we'll add 1 inch for that, for allowance, sorry. And then from that point, you're going to come down by 1 inch, which you are going to use for your shoulder slope. So you're just going to slope that into your shoulder. And then the next thing we're going to mark from this point, we want to mark our half of our armhole. So like I explained earlier, our bust measurement is 36, our under bust is 30, and then our waist is 34, and then our hip line is 40. So for us to get this half of this armhole, you're going to divide 36 by 6 and then plus 1.5. So when you do that, you're going to have 7.5. So when you have that 7.5, you're going to mark that 7.5, and then you're going to call this line your chest line. So from this point, you're going to connect that line to that point. So this is what we'll use for half of our armhole. And then we're going to create our curve. So like I said, we're creating our curve, okay? So let me show you guys now. So for us to create our curve, so this is half of our curve. That's, sorry, half of the armhole. So this is where we are going to create our curve from, and then it's going to blend in that way. The next thing we want to do, we want to mark our dart. So for us to mark our dart, we're going to use our bust pan, which is called the nipple to nipple, which is called the bust pan. You guys should please, by the way, please like this video, okay? I would appreciate that. So, and that is 8 inches. So I'm going to divide that 8 inches into two. That gives me 4 inches, and then I am going to mark the 4 inches across all of my lines, okay? So I'm just gonna mark them like that. I'll connect it down, and then the next thing, if you notice, I did not mark it on the chest line because I know it's going to affect it if I mark it here. For me to connect it is going to be a problem. So don't mark it on that chest line, just leave it. The next thing we want to do now, we want to create our what do you call it? Our dart. We want to create our bust here. So for us to create our bust here, I'm going to use 2 inches for my to create my curve. So I'm going to mark 2 inches here. It is a simple process. So once I mark that 2 inches there, I'm going to connect that 2 inches to my nipple point like this. So I'm going to curve it. I really don't like that curve. I didn't like it. So I'm going to recurve it nicely. So the next thing I want to do now, so this line at this point, I am just going to take it up just a little bit to be like one inch or 1.5, okay? So I'm just going to take that up, and then I want to I just want to try to get a more beautiful rounded curve. Yeah, I think I like this better. So the next thing I want to do, my 2 inches for my dart, I'm going to come down. I'll mark it down here. Let me show you guys. So I'm just going to mark it here like this, and then we are going to connect this down like that, okay? So the next thing I want to work on our princess dart. So normally, if you take a good look at that picture that I posted on my thumbnail, you find out that the princess dart line came up a little bit. If you notice, that is the lines are from here like this. You understand? That's like from up here. So that what was done was that instead of starting, normally when I'm doing my princess dart pattern, I'm supposed to curve it from here like this. You understand? That's I'll curve here and then mark 2 inches from here and then create my curve. You understand? Okay. So for this, what was done is you come up by 1 inch, just come up a little bit from that midpoint, just come up by 1 inch. And then after coming up by 1 inch, you're just going to create that curve, let it blend into this, okay? So you can see. So normally, like I said, you're supposed to start it from here. That's normal princess that you start it from here. That's this curve now that I have up. You're going to take it here and then you're going to you mark it here and then you come down by 2 inches and then mark and connect to your bust point, okay? So I hope you guys understand. So I'm just going to clean this. If you don't understand, please you can drop it on the comment section. So for this, you're just gonna go up a little bit. That's just that. So just go up, and then once before you now navigate your curve to your bust point. So now we want to take out the dart, okay? So our dart now we're taking 2 inches dart. So from this point, we're just going to come here. So this is 2 inches, right? So from that 2 inches, you are just going to create a beautiful curve and just hit it to your nipple points like that. It is a simple process. So I'm just trying to use my pencil first before I blend that in, okay? So you can see. So that is okay. That is really okay. So I am just going to take my pattern curve like this, and then I'm just going to blend this into that point, okay? So the next thing I want to do, since I had already, so this one, so at this point now, this line is no longer necessary. So this is this is that line. So that's not necessary. So now we're going to get a new armhole. So you remember we used 2 inches. So now for me to get my armhole, this is what I normally use. Instead of me to mark 2 inches, I'm going to mark 2 1/4. So this has helped me a whole lot. It makes my princess dart pattern not to get truncated. So I'm just going to blend this here. That's this curve. Now just mark it, and then from here, I am going to create my new armhole like this. Okay. So another way for me to do that So this was the initial one, so I'm just going to create this like this. So with this I have my new armhole. Okay, so you can see it is a simple process. So the next thing I want to do, I want to take out my full body measurement. So my bust is 36 divided by 4, which is 9 inches. And then I'm going to add my 2 inches that intake. Can you see? And then I'm going to add just 1.5 inches sewing allowance. So you can see what I have here. And then I'm going to come to the under bust. Under 30 divided by 4, I have 7.5. And then from 7.5 I'm going to add 2 inches. That's, remember, these 2 inches for our dart, so you have to bring that back into your pattern. I'll add that, and then I'm going to add my stitching allowance. I'll mark that. So once I get that, I'm going to connect these two lines like this while I wait for the other ones. Can you guys see? You see, it is a simple process. Okay, so now I'm going to come down here for my waist measurement, which is 34 divided by 4, have 8.5. And then I'm just going to add my 2 inches dart intake, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. And then the last line is our basque line, which is your hip measurement. That's what you are going to be putting there, which is 40 divided by 4, we have 10 inches. And then I'm just going to add my 2 inches dart intake, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. Okay, so when I did that, I am going to have my pattern is going to be looking like this. So you can see, my pattern. So for us to create my basque waistline, it is a simple process. I'm going to, from here, just create a curve down to those points like this. So for my waist line that way, I'm just going to create my curve. That's if I want a sharp basque. So that particular style, that one is a style for another day. That one is a style for another day. So that particular basque for that style is even deeper than this one. You understand? It's a very deep basque. So that's what was used for that pattern. So the next thing we want to do now, we want to create our neckline. So we're going to come here like this. So remember, we used 3.5 inches while we were doing our back pattern. So you're going to mark it like this. So the next thing, you're going to check how deep is your V. So for this, I'm going to use 8 inches. You can see it is a very deep V. So I'm just going to mark my 8 inches here. And then from here, you're going to use your pattern. You use your pattern master like this, and then create, just try to get that deep, that sharp neckline. Can you see the way the V is? It's not like it is a fire angled V. So you can see, so this is our pattern. So now I'm going to show you guys how to cut this. So when you want to cut, the first thing you're going to do, you're going to cut your basque area like this. Okay, so if you want to add our side dart, you're going to increase the length of this, but I'm not teaching you that one here today. So for those of you that have been joining us, you know that I normally teach you guys different patterns. That's different patterns. Even if we say it is a bustier we are doing, but most times we normally use different pattern to achieve a style here on our live stream. Okay, so can you see the way I'm cutting this? So this particular princess dart pattern is a beautiful pattern. So you see the boss. Can you see the way the boss, the thing sets? So now I'm going to cut out my dart area like this. And remember, this part is no longer needed. Can you see? You see the way I'm cutting that? So most times this is what I normally do. I'll just extend this a little bit. I did, even though I did not mark it, but you see the way I did it. I extended it a little bit, and then I am going to, it usually helps, that's just the truth. It normally helps. And then I'm going to take out the neckline. So the neckline, like I said, my when I draft, I usually don't cut on exact drafting lines. I normally open up just a little bit. That's like just come out a little bit. So this one I'm just shaping that part. So this is the front of our pattern. Can you see? You see the front of our pattern. Can you see how beautiful she looks? So that is our front pattern, and then this is our back pattern. Okay, can you see? So you see our back pattern, and then you see our front pattern. So that is all we have for today. So if you have questions, so let me just raise this up. If you have questions, you can ask your questions. Okay, so I'm just going to promise. Thank you so much. Solange, God bless you. Thank you so much. Vivian, Bright, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Solange. I appreciate Vivian. Thank you so much. Atinuke, thank you. Opara Chineye, thank you. Ted Smith, let's see what happened to. Okay, let's see. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. So like I said, my live streams are 4 times a week: Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 7 p.m. So those are our time of our live stream. So I want to say thank you. Can see that I'm sweating. Yes, I'm so sweaty. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow for our last live stream for the week. God bless you all. Bye. Let me go and take a shower.